That's one of my biggest fears is being sent to prison or jail for a crime I didn't commit.
Ooh.
Like that and spiders. My biggest fears. And bed bugs.
Okay. Yeah. Bed bugs suck.
I'm so afraid of
them. I've
them.
had bed bugs many years ago.
I have nightmares about them constantly.
I had bed bugs. It was so bad. I was in this terrible loft in Bushwick, Brooklyn.
I went to that loft. I knew that loft.
You were there.
Cute. It was a nice looking.
Okay, yeah,
loft.
it looks great, right? It looks rentable, but then you live there and you're like, fuck, it's got the bugs.
It's got the bugs.
This was such a weird situation. My landlord would just waltz in and knock on my room door, not my front door. He would knock on my room door to collect rent. Yeah. And I would freak out at this guy. He'd just walk in and I hear a knock and I'm thinking it's my roommate. And so I open the door and I see my landlord there and he's like, I'm here to collect rent. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing in my apartment?
Was he from Transylvania?
No, is that what I sounded like? Yeah.
I'm here to collect my rent.
I'm here to collect the rent.
Where was he from?
You know,
you don't want to say? That's fine.
Brooklyn? I don't know, you know. He has a kind of the Brooklyn accent, you know what I'm saying?
I've never met my landlord, but I actually have a new one right now. We got new building management.
Oh, you did?
And they fix things. And it's such a shock to me that they've actually fixed things. I can't believe it. This is how... Oh, I didn't tell you the drama with the lights in my apartment.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what happened with that.
Okay,
Did they finally get rid of the lights?
Let me explain what happened. I come home after Thanksgiving and I'm in bed and I'm lying in bed and I always sleep with my curtains open because I'm a really heavy sleeper. And if I don't have my curtains open, I won't wake up. I'll sleep till 2 PM. It's weird. So I'm lying in bed and my room is lit up like I'm in some football stadium.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is going on? And I look at my window and there's full on floodlights in the buildings opposite me shining into my apartment. It looks like, you know in movie sets when they have to pretend it's daylight outside? They put a light outside the window and shine in. It was that shining into my apartment. And I realized the building across, I put safety lights on, but they put them this way, like headlights, and they just went straight into my bedroom window. And I was furious. I was so mad. And even with my curtains closed, my room was lit up. It was like daylight in my room. So I tried to find the building manager through Google. Couldn't find it. I went into the building. I buzzed the buzzers and was like, Amazon. And they let me in.
And you're like, ding, 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 ding.
Yeah,
ding,
exactly.
Ding.
And I found the building management's name.
And who told you to do that? That's a genius move. This guy.
Well, you didn't tell me to buzz in and say I'm Amazon, but you did say to go in the building and find the name.
Yeah.
So anyway, and then I tried to find the management company from that name, but they're really elusive and have terrible reviews online. And I'll tell you why they have terrible reviews online.
Every management does.
Well, they had specifically bad reviews because apparently a couple months ago, one of their buildings on the east side got broken into and someone's dog got stolen. And the building refused to release the footage of it. So everyone in the building decided to go on Google and Yelp and slam this company to get them to do something. Oh my gosh,
you don't mess with a New Yorker's dog.
All the reviews were from the exact same time. And they were like, how dare you? You don't care about animals. Like, it was, yeah. So I couldn't get hold of them. So then I realized I was out taking trash out one day with my neighbor. It's like 2 days later.
Yeah.
And there's an undercover police in front of my apartment.
Okay.
Because there's a parking bay there for police.
Yeah.
And I hear his radio and he's just dressed casually having a cigarette. And I was like, oh, that's undercover police. And sure enough, he pulls out a badge. And so I went up and asked him. I was like, hey, listen, what's the deal with these lights? Like, what can I do?
Right.
And, you know, he goes, well, it can't be a police issue. I was like, no, I know that. And I explained to him what I'd done. And he goes, you could be a detective. And I was like, thank you. And he looked up more information about the building for us and helped us out. But he couldn't really do anything. He was like, you know, you have to complain to the building.
Right.
So at this point, I'm going crazy. So I wrote a letter to the local district leader.
Nice. Did you like stamp it in wax?
No, I should have. I didn't send it. I just wrote it up like a really angry email.
How sick would that be though if you went full calligraphy, like feathered pen, wax seal?
Well, I got like an owl to deliver it to them.
Yes.
That would have been amazing.
Yes.
That's how serious I am. But so the next day I was like, all right, I got to do something because I'm getting angry by the second. I was about to take my broom and smash them. Like,
would your broom get that job done?
Probably, like smash the light bulbs out.
Nice.
They'd replace them, but I don't want to get arrested. Like I just said, I would be a prison bitch. So I really don't want to go to jail.
So did they take care of it?
Finally, I managed to find out who the super was and I phoned him and I told him what was going on. And the next day they fixed them.
Oh, wow.
And I couldn't believe it because if you told my super something, it would take about 6 months of begging before they fixed it. Like I told them my fridge was broken and they were just like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens sometimes.
No,
I was like, no.
I totally get it. I totally get it. You know, a lot of that isn't the super's fault either.
It wasn't. And the super was so nice and he was very apologetic. And I was like, look, it's not your fault. I was like, I'm just trying to reach the building management, and
Yeah.
you're the only phone number. You're the only person who would pick up the phone.
That's the right way of doing it.
So like, this is, I'm so sorry that you're having to deal with this.
Right.
And he was like, I'm so sorry. I've lived in the neighborhood 20 years. I know it's too much lights. They've really messed them up. And I was like, I appreciate that. Please don't feel bad yourself. And he talked to the management and they fixed it. And I was just amazed that something actually got fixed.
That's a great New York story because that's a very rare occurrence.
New York apartments
for those listening outside New York.
Notoriously terrible. My friend lived in Chinatown for a while, and she had an electric door. Like, the door was electric to get into her building.
Yeah.
And I'd say 1 out of every 10 times she did it, the door would full on electrocute her. and the building.
What?
So sometimes you put a key in and just be like zapped, like hardcore zap. Not even like a static thing, like
That's
proper,
crazy.
like her arm would go numb kind of thing. And the building just didn't fix it. And then she lived there. And I was like, why? And I think she eventually moved out because she was sick of being electrocuted.
Yeah.
Like once a month.
Yeah.
But,
that would do it for me.
Yeah.
That's such a crazy problem.
When she told me that, I was like, oh, maybe my apartment problems aren't that bad.
No.
I'm like, I have a wobbly shelf. Maybe that's not so bad. I'm not
that
getting
might be one of the
electrocuted.
worst problems I've heard.
Getting electrocuted going into.
Yeah. Every time you open a door, you get electrocuted.
Yeah. Well, actually 1 out of 10 times. So it's
I cannot
kind of a
believe
gamble.
that they allowed that to go on. I mean, that is just so stupid.
one of my apartments I had in New York, if I opened the window, the whole window would fall out. Like I lived
How high up were you?
a 4th floor, and it was a
Fourth floor?
It was the big 18-inch windows, the huge ones.
Oh my.
So if I lifted up the window would fall out. And
Towards you or towards the street?
the street. And I told my super, I was like, look, when I try to open the window, it starts to fall out, the frame. And he just goes, okay, well, don't open the window then. And I was like, you can't.
You're like, okay, then I won't pay rent.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Me being 21 was like, that makes sense.
Yeah, he's like, he's a nice guy.
That's
He really,
right.
he really went above and beyond to help me out.
He tried.